Hey everybody, welcome to Home with the Halsteads and welcome to my kitchen. I bet you're thinking, what is she doing today? She doesn't have her ingredients out here. Well, I do, and I'm telling you that it's going to be a demonstration today. I'm going to show you how to prep flour and butter for making some good homemade buttermilk biscuits. Now, let's talk biscuits for just a minute. There are so many different recipes and different ways to make homemade buttermilk biscuits. I know some people will say there's only one way, but I would argue that it doesn't matter what your biscuits look like as long as they taste good. So let me tell you a little bit about my experience with biscuits. I was brought up to make biscuits using White Lily self-rising flour, and I still use it to this day. It is the best flour that you can possibly get. So I'll be using White Lily self-rising flour. Mama used it, I use it. Now, back when I learned to make biscuits, I made them with oil, and that's the recipe that I have in my cookbook, and they are delicious. And I still make them with vegetable oil. I make them also with solid shortening. A lot of people use a solid shortening, which is wonderful, and I do too. But most recently, I have started making biscuits occasionally with butter. And you'll see on a lot of the home videos and the networks, you'll see biscuits that are being made with frozen butter. And let me tell you, they are delicious. So what I've learned to do, I've learned to prep my flour and my butter. And then when I get ready to make biscuits with butter, all I have to do is go to my freezer and pull it out and make my biscuits. And it's so simple and it doesn't take very long. And the reason that I prep it is because the butter needs to be frozen or needs to be really, really cold. So if you already have it put together, you just bring it out and put it in a bowl, put your buttermilk, stir it up, make your biscuits, pop them in the oven, and you're ready to go. So let's get busy and I will show you exactly how I prep my flour and my butter to make good homemade buttermilk biscuits. I have everything that we need to prep our flour and our butter for our good homemade buttermilk biscuits, and I wanted to show you the utensils and the materials that I'm going to be using. I'm going to be using my sifter, so I'll sift our flour. I'm just using a little bowl to catch it in or to put it in. And I'm using a grater. Now you can use a box grater like this. You can use any kind of grater that you have. But I purchased me a little rotary grater. I use it for cheeses, and I'm going to be using it for butter today as we grate our butter to go in our flour for our biscuits. So I'm just going to lock this down on this surface that I have here so that it won't bounce around. And now I'm going to make a small batch of biscuits. So I'll be using 2.5 cups of the self-rising flour, and this is White Lily self-rising flour. So that's 2.5 cups. Now I'm going to use 1 stick of butter. I froze my butter. It's going to be a little harder to grate, but you need for it to be really cold. So I'm going to slip on a glove as I work with this, and hopefully you're going to be able to see all of this as we work together. But the first thing that I need to do, and I almost forgot this, I got so excited about grating my butter, I'm just sifting our flour in the bowl. There's a little lump right there. Just get that right out. So there we go. We have our flour. 2.5 cups of sifted flour. Now, I'm going to just place our butter in the top of this grater. And I'm going to begin grating it. Let me move my big hand so you can see. And then once it grates down, it has this little thing here that you can put on top to kind of help to press it down. And just continue to grate your butter. I like to take a fork as I'm grating mine and go ahead and start mixing it in the flour like that. Continuing to grate. And there it is. You have your butter grated just that quickly. Gonna rake it out. So we'll get it all in our biscuits. And again, I hope I can do this so I'm not covering everything up. I'm just getting it out of the grater. This comes apart and washes really well. So there you have that. Now let me move this and we'll finish up our little prepping real quickly. I'm going to take a spoon and just stir this around. You could take your hands and mix it. If you were mixing your solid shortening, you would probably use your hands to do that. Some people cut their butter, but I like to grate mine. And that's it. Now, I have prepared my little freezer bag here, and I wrote 2½ cups of white lily self-rising flour and 1/2 cup butter. And I will know that this really is my biscuit mix that I'm making, and I'm going to put in the freezer. And then when I get ready to make my biscuits, all that I have to do is run out to the freezer. My freezer's in my garage just outside the door, and I will grab it, pour my buttermilk in it, stir it up, cut out my biscuits, and that's it. And I don't have to do all of this when I get ready to make my biscuits. A lot of times we don't make them because we feel like it's too much trouble. Well, it's not. It just takes a minute to do it. I want to get all of this in here. If I can turn it around here, I want everybody to see. And there you have it. As simple as that, we have our flour and our butter prepped, ready to make some good, delicious homemade buttermilk biscuits. I hope you've enjoyed my video today showing you how I prep flour and butter for making good homemade buttermilk biscuits. It's so easy and simple, and when I get ready to make some, I just grab it out of the freezer and stir it up and make good biscuits. Thank you for joining me in my kitchen today, as always, at Home with the Halsteads. I hope you have a blessed day. I'll see you again really, really soon.